morning, Africa. You're tuned to Good Morning Africa on Housing TV, Africa, your go-to morning show for conversations that shape our continent. My name is Ubon Usoro.
And I am Yemuna Bagudu. Today we'll be diving into a topic that connects us beyond borders, the importance of learning foreign languages. In our increasingly global world, language is no longer just a classroom subject. It's a powerful tool for opportunity, understanding, and growth.
Emuna, you're absolutely right. Language is more than just words. Language connects us. It is a bridge to culture, business, diplomacy, and even personal development. Whether you're learning French, of course, bonjour and a bit of French, Mandarin, Spanish, or Arabic. We talked about Arabic,
Earlier,
Yeah, each new
yeah.
language opens up a new world for you.
Absolutely. And with Africa being home to so many multilingual communities, the ability to learn and speak foreign languages gives us a global edge, especially for young people looking to compete and collaborate internationally.
Exactly. To help us explore this topic, we have a special guest in the studio, Mobolaji, a brilliant linguist and passionate French teacher. She has helped many young Africans gain confidence and opportunities through language learning.
Stick with us as we discuss why foreign languages matter, the benefits they bring, and how you can get started on your multilingual journey. We'll be right back after this short break. I can make it. It's on standby.
Good morning, viewers. It's a great privilege to be here. My name is Emmanuel Aromesani. I'm a HR and enterprise development consultant, and I've worked for about 18 years, and I began consulting since 2010, 2011, 14, 15 years ago, and I've had the privilege of mentoring and training a lot of young people. Today, we're going to be discussing an amazing subject. And our subject will be built around the subject and the caption, I can make it. I can make it. You can make it. We all can make it. The market is large, opportunity is overwhelmingly available for everyone to make it. But today let's look at how can you make it? What are the requirements? What are the processes? What does it mean for one to say boldly, I can make it? What does it even mean by that word, I can make it? It simply means a mindset that is set to achieve. It means a declaration made. It means a commitment put at the table in pursuit of success. A focused individual, young or old, schooled or unschooled, once your mind is set, a declaration is made and commitment is put at the table, or whatever you intend to do, or you find your hands to do, and you put in your best, then you are the person who qualifies to declare without any boundary, without no limitations, that you can make it. I can make it, you can make it. And so we'll look at this clearly. I'm a Christian, and so I'll bring the perspective of scripture just to lay a good foundation. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinks, so he is, very clearly. Everyone who has the confidence and the courage and the requisite preparations and resources to declare that I can make it must have the mindset well placed, well filled with every knowledge, information, and everything that requires to want to declare that I can make it in a particular field. It is important to also state that mindset is important. What you think is important. But I will always say to as many people I have opportunity of training and mentoring that you can't give what you don't have. And so it's important to begin from the place of what does it require for everyone to get to the point where they can boldly say, I can make it. Or as Philippians 4 verse 13 said, I can do all things. You can if you are ready. The question is, what does it take to be ready? Number one, we'll look at these 3 preparatory steps. Do you have a clear idea that you want to run to be able to get all that you want to achieve on that pedestal, on that path? So the first thing is having a clear idea, a clear path or purpose, because idea gives birth to purpose, and purpose gives birth to vision. And so anyone who must achieve must first of all have an idea an idea on which ground you are going to succeed and then achieve whatever you want to succeed with. And so, number one, idea. Number two, purpose must be clear. Purpose is the reason for being. And so if you don't have your purpose clearly understood and discovered, then you may not be able to say clearly that you are going to make it. People who have made it in life have a clear idea they work with. They have a clear purpose that have been discovered. And they have a path that is clear vision. Because idea gives birth to purpose, purpose gives birth to vision. And then vision gives birth to mission, core values, as the case may be. Today is not the day for that. But so you must, first of all, fill your mind with that idea. Carry out what we call, have a concept of what you want to achieve. And so if you must make it, then you must have the mindset. Ready? The purpose discovered. The vision clearly stated as a picture of the future to where you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Can you make it? It's dependent on what quality of preparations you have made. And let's look at the key preparations you need to make. You have to set clear goals on the part of vision. You have to develop a growth mindset. People who have made it in life have a growth mindset. They are not working by assumption, by speculations. They work with deliberate preparation, deliberate pursuit and focus in the path of what they intend to achieve. And so if you are listening to me here, viewers, one thing is key, is that everyone can make it because the market is so large and wide. But one thing that must be clear, do you have a clear goal in mind? The vision clearly stated. And then do you have a growth mindset? And then number three, have you built resilience and perseverance? Number three, have you surrounded yourself with positive influencers? People who are promoters, people who can tell you, go, you can do it. I did it, you can do it. No expert around the world, the best of professionals around the world, did not just make it by themselves. They have influencers around them, promoters around them that supported them to pursue their goal in life. And so today I'm telling you clearly that you can make it because I am making it as I'm talking to you. And so I've gone through, grow through the ladder of career. And I'm here today to encourage you that you can make it. These are the clear steps. And then you must have practical tips you learn from people who have gone ahead of you. And that brings me to the point of mentoring and apprenticeship. Okay, if you don't enroll for apprenticeship, you are not qualified for mentorship. If you must make it, you must have people that have gone ahead of you that you take after, that you go for counsel, that you go for a guide, a compass that lead you into the future that you have not been, but that you are pursuing, to achieve. And so you can make it. I can make it. That's what our mind must be set on. It's not about, I don't have the resources, everything is not about money. Everything begins with a mindset. Everything begins with studying and preparing and gathering information through research purposes. Now it's easy to get information with the aid of AI and the internet. And so I encourage every young man, every young woman, young or old, age is not a barrier, age is a number. Go out there, get ready, knowing at the back of your mind that you can make it. Because I will make it, you will make it. And that is very clear. And I'd like to let you know, let's look at those who have achieved success in time past. What are the things that we can learn from them? Very thing is that they take calculated risk. Everything in life is a risk. Whatever you want to become, whatever you want to achieve, get ready to take calculated risk. But having it at the back of your mind that except you start, you can't finish. Except you start, you can't finish. And I like to end with this quote. Okay? I like to end with this quote. And it stays, according to Theodore Roosevelt, he said, believe you can and you are halfway there. If you believe you can, you are halfway there. This is very important and you must never forget that. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. You don't keep saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait until all the circumstances are perfect before you get started. You get started. If you look at the work clock, one thing is sure that you familiarize yourself with the work clock is that it keep ticking one step at a time. You are sick, it's ticking. You are not okay, it's ticking. If you can do what the work clock is doing, keep moving. Consistency is the name of the game. And that's what Sam Livingston made us to understand. Winston Churchill also made that very clear, that if you continue, then every step will count. I thank you very much because I'm still going to have an opportunity to come back. Don't forget, you can make it. And because you can make it, we all can together become a strong force for positive change. Thank you very much. My name remains Emmanuel Aramesani. It's an honor and privilege to share my thought with you. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Welcome back. Today's discussion is all about the importance of learning foreign languages. As the world gets more connected, the ability to communicate across cultures becomes very important, more than ever.
That's right. From studying abroad to career opportunities to building international networks, foreign languages gives us a competitive advantage. And now let's welcome our guest for today, Mobolaji. Welcome to Good Morning Africa, and thank you so much for joining us today. I love the fact that we're having, this topic. We're talking about languages and the importance of languages. So I'll just go straight to the point. Many people think learning a language is too difficult. And even me, sometimes I say, you have language problem. I think some people have issues learning new languages. Trust me, I accepted that a very long time ago. What are some misconceptions about language learning that you often come across?
Okay, misconceptions. First of all, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate the opportunity. All right, so misconceptions are, I won't say that they are really misconceptions. Learning a language, like you said, is actually difficult. I wouldn't tell anybody it's easy. I don't want to, I learned this language in 2 years. I learned this language in 1 year. You put in a lot to learn that language. But the thing is, let's narrow it down to learning a language as an adult. It's different from learning a language as a child. When we were growing up, did we know that we were learning languages? We weren't conscious of the fact that we were learning whatever our local languages are, or even English, because it was our everyday language. So the misconceptions are mostly in people's heads. Get into it, then you find out that, okay, it's not like that. I think learning a language is difficult is one of the greatest misconceptions, but I'm not here to dispel it. I'm just here to tell you that it depends on what angle you're looking at it from. Then again, what is driving you? Do we have misconceptions? Not very much. It's not an area that a lot of people are willing to explore just yet. Yeah, so the major thing you mentioned at first about it being difficult is probably the major misconception about it. And I'm not here to say it's easy, but I'll tell you it's doable. It's doable, very much doable. It depends on your motivation. Yeah, it's expensive. Maybe another thing that people say. It's expensive to learn a language.
Okay, so when they say it's expensive to learn a language, is it the funding or the time consumption it takes up their time, instead of them using that time to do something better? Why am I sitting down to learn?
Yes,
You understand? Yeah.
exactly. If you are somebody who has a 9 to 5 and you already have, or maybe your life is busy already, learning language might take up a lot of time. So time is money.
Of course.
On one end, also, are you going to buy courses? Are you going to go to language school? If you're going to read on your own in the house, you need time. Maybe you're going to just buy your materials, or even just watch YouTube, because I'm sure any language in the world you want to learn, well, maybe not all, but the major languages, there's content on the internet for those languages. So when I said it's expensive, people say it's expensive, but it depends on the method that you're taking to learn the language. I, for example, I've done it. I've gone to l'Institut Français. I've done payments. I've paid for apps, like Buzu. I'm presently on the paid Duolingo. Now, not just your normal Duolingo that everybody knows. I think everybody in the world knows Duolingo, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it depends. And you could also just not pay a penny. Just pay your normal subscription for YouTube, your normal subscription for Spotify. You have content everywhere. So it depends on how you want to go. But it gets to a certain time, you want to go to advanced level, you might not be able to. You need somebody to speak to. Where are you located? Do you have a French speaker around you? Do you have a Spanish speaker around you? A German speaker around you that is willing to do an exchange? And most of the time these days, the exchange programs we have are paid. You know, a German speaker wants to learn English, a Spanish speaker wants to learn English, then both of you do an exchange. Yeah, that one is free. But if it's not somebody who wants to learn, the person is actually teaching you, is going to collect money from you. So you have options, really.
Thank you so much for that.
All right, so I'd like to ask, when did you realize that you have a knack for learning language? Because somebody said that to learn new languages is a thing of for genius. Those that are
genius.
Yes.
Okay.
Geniuses, those are exceptional.
It's not.
You know, just like learning, people will say rocket science. You know. Thermodynamics. There are some pieces that like it's not for everyday. Okay,
but you do know I'm an engineer, right?
Oh,
are you aware? Okay, so
maybe that's the connection. So how did you now have this zeal? How did you get to understand that this is something you love?
Okay, I won't say happenstance, but I think we started learning French in secondary school. Yeah, so my private school, one of the schools I went to quite a number of them, they teach French. So I did French up until GSS 3. Yes, I actually did GSSE and did French in it and passed it. I think I got an A1 or something. So, but that was where it ended. I mean, when we got to SS1, nobody really told us. We didn't really understand how important that language was until, you know, I'm dropping courses. We're all dropping courses in SS1 and then we dropped French. But when I got to the university, I used to know how to speak French. So I began to consider, you know, the possibility of, you know, exploring that area. But what really did it for me was sometime after I finished school, I began to desire to really, really play in the global sector, in the global world. I began to see that you can't say because you're a Nigerian and you're in Nigeria, that is all there is to your life. You want to explore the world. So if you're going to explore the world, there are so many languages out there. And you're armed. I feel English is the first language in the world. So debatable. I think we are now struggling between English and Mandarin. No, it's not Spanish, Mandarin. So because apparently they measure this by the number of people that actually speak a language in the world. So they have the population and all that. So English and Mandarin, but I think English will always win.
Of course.
I think English will always win. So yeah, I'm armed with English already. But I mean, we're going to the world. If you open up your mind and understand that there are billions of people in the world and 100,000s of languages in the world, just knowing English and Yoruba did not just seem enough. I needed to add more to it. So I picked up. And then I started to look at working in the humanitarian sector, the international organizations like the UN. And then I discovered that if you want to go faster, then don't just take your English and do more. You need to do more. Yeah.
Okay, so before you came in, we were having a conversation with Obong about learning languages, and then we went, way back while we were still in school. Trust me, we did not go to the same school. We were just having this conversation, and then he came up with the whole French thing. I'm like, hold it there. I remembered when we were dropping courses, French was number 1 on my list. I dropped, and then he was like, "Do you know how to greet in French?" I'm like, "I don't know." Bonjour. Taking me to, but then I said bonjour. He was like, bonjour. I said, "That is just
that's all."
Exactly. So this brings me to my next question. So you've worked with let me just say a quite number of people, and I am very, very sure that you have been in a position where someone walked up to you and like, "I need you to tutor me." You know, in French. How do you keep learners motivated when the process feels slow or difficult? Because the truth of the matter is, a language that is not your own is always difficult to start with.
True.
It's always difficult to start with. So How do you do that?
Okay, so I'll come from a place of I'm not a tutor per se. I'm not
Okay.
even a tutor.
Okay.
I'm still being tutored self, you know. But I kind of an influencer, if you can call me that. In foreign language, I like to encourage people to read, to learn French or any other foreign language that they desire to. And I say this because I have people who are inspired and want me to talk to them and want me to encourage them, want me to be on their journey. Just as the same way, there are people who support me in my own journey as well. You need to keep hanging in there.
Sure.
Yeah, you need to keep trying. You need to keep going. The moment you just stop, you take a break, you could lose. Like she said, it's not your first language. You could lose a lot of the progress that you have been having. So how I encourage people is, I first of all want to understand, why are you learning this language? I mean, if you don't have a very solid why or a motivation, then yeah, the thing hard. So you just find yourself just giving up. So how do I motivate? I take the lessons I learned during my own, while my experience, because it's not like I finished learning, I'm still learning. I would say find things you love doing and do it in the language that you are trying to learn. If you love, for those of people that love to watch movies, watch your movies in French. Watch your YouTube content in French. The good thing now is that all these social media platforms or these streaming platforms are now so smart. AI and everything. YouTube now has, my YouTube is bilingual. I did not send it to, but it just noticed that I'm always looking at French content and English content. All of a sudden, I discovered that there's this. You see the tag there, bilingual for me, because I do the two languages, and if you could stay more hours in that foreign language that you are trying to learn, the more your ears begin to, adapt to the sounds, the more your brain begins to receive all the strange things that you don't know about, and it becomes familiar. Just do the things you love in the foreign language. That's the number one advice I would give to you if you want to stay motivated in learning French or any other language.
You said something that you're still learning, and of course, I remember those days they used to tell us that learning never ends.
No, it never ends.
Don't even get to a point where you say, I'm done learning. So for you, what has been some of the highlights that you can look back and say, I've made progress?
Okay, so I thought I had gotten to a good place sometime in 2022 when I applied for a job in DRC Congo. Of course, DRC Congo is it's a French-speaking country. So I applied for, I think, deputy project manager, and I got shortlisted, did the exam, and then it now came time for the interview. My people, I was stuck. I was stuck. I knew what I wanted to say, but the words just weren't coming out. And that was what drove me to say, you need to really get to a place where you are comfortable with the language. And now I realize, have you heard some Chinese people from various parts of the world speak English, and the English is not okay, but they are speaking it with confidence. That is all I needed to gain. I needed to gain the confidence in where I was in my language learning, to be able to speak. Because if you don't speak, it doesn't happen. You won't learn, you won't grow, you won't become better. But as you speak, I don't know how it happens. Just like when we're young, when we're children, we didn't know why we were just talking. Just talk and we just say they'll correct us. Sure. So, and now, if anybody comes in here and speaks to me in French, right or wrong, I will answer you. The worst you will do is you will laugh.
But then it follows with the correction.
Yes, most of the time it follows with the correction. Yeah. So, and sometimes if they understand what you're saying, they don't bother to even correct you. They just let you be. And they don't even laugh sometimes, because it depends on how serious the conversation is. They just let you go and other. So that was how I knew that I have grown from that time. I can actually do an interview now in French and and be able to tell you what you want to hear. It might not be perfect, it might not be like a native speaker, but you will understand what I'm saying, and that is the most important thing. I will communicate. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Honestly, I love this conversation. I love the fact that, but it's true. I'll use myself as an example. I've always wanted to learn how to speak Yoruba. Yes. And I have this very good connection with Yoruba people. I don't know why it's always like that. But then meet me at home. You would never catch me watching my movies like my normal. I always tune into Africa Magic Yoruba on his when I'm at home. So from there, I started picking up, little words. There's nothing you say in Yoruba that I don't understand. But, that's free flow of communication. But maybe because I don't have somebody with me in the house, to speak it to. But I think I'll start trying it. Even if I say error, we
will correct you.
So let's move. My next question is concerning schools, because we know that these languages, of course, they start from secondary school, right? Yeah. Did you do any French classes in primary school? I've always hated my French classes in secondary school, so it was a no-go area. Yeah. Some primary schools, maybe now, So, what role can schools and institutions play in terms of encouraging language learning for, kids that are a bit interested and still not interested? They're just stuck in the middle, they're just there. So how will these institutions and schools go after that?
Yeah, I think that the first thing is an enabling environment. If something is fun, if something is not easy per se, but if something is adaptable, you won't shy away from it. Then secondly, do these people really know, do these children really know why they are learning a language? They have no idea. Okay, let's talk about the Japa syndrome a little bit. If they had told you that it is French or Spanish or German that will give you a great future, when you were in secondary school, you would have looked at them and like, what are you talking about? But now, it's almost like, especially if you're going to Canada, it's almost like, oh, you are bilingual. Oh, come along. Because the demand for French English speakers there now is high. So let's look at it again from another angle. If somebody doesn't know why they are learning something, please tell me why they want to learn it.
True.
So it's just easy. Lay emphasis on the importance of language for your future, for the future of these people, of these children. Job opportunities now these days, are everywhere. Not just job. You could be a business owner. You could decide that you have a business idea that you want to pursue, that you want to bring to life and everything. And they call them angel, I don't know, venture capital, angel investors and all that are at the other corner of the world. And then how do you get your message out there? It's just learning the language just makes your sphere of influence greater. Even locally, being able to speak Yoruba, being able to speak English, because trust me, there are Nigerians or there are people that don't know how to speak English. It's just their local language and they know. So, and they struggle. They struggle at school, they struggle in the society. So if we can first make this, the children, students understand that, look, language can take you places. Let me give you an example. Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Do you know he speaks French very well, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't want to say that it is his French that carried him there. Of course, it's not his French that took him to that level. But he must be thriving better because he can speak a foreign language. And then we've forgotten that Africa has English was colonized by English people, was colonized by, I think, Portuguese. Some of us was it's Portuguese, then French people. So these are the three languages that one should be pursuing. Nigeria in the north is bordered by French speaking. On the west, the same thing. On the I think on the south, no, we don't have anybody. On the other side as well, the west, east, and the north, we are bordered by French speakers.
Exactly. True.
Those are the things you need to tell students that look, it's just good for you. I mean, and trust me, when you learn this language, you feel better with yourself. Then you now, yeah. You can imagine if you could speak now, we'll just be doing we'll be gossiping in French.
True.
Honestly, okay, you've not really mastered Yoruba now. I've just tried it with you and I've just spoken some Yoruba to you, and you would have felt like you will relate. Yes, you will relate with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So that's how it feels. Let them, two things. First, understand why it is important. Tell them why it is important. Let it be let it become a priority. And secondly, an enabling environment. Schools need to create an enabling environment. Good teachers, materials, the community. Let there be a francophone community developed or francophile community developed around. And it will be better for students.
This just gave me. I just remembered. Sorry, I remembered when I traveled to Lome. Oh my goodness,
yeah,
God!
Lome.
Oh no, at the airport. So, I mistakenly took my liquid soap, in my hand luggage instead of checking it in. So while we're moving, we got to Lome. They had to check my hand luggage, and then they saw my liquid soap, and they're like, "Sorry, you can't go with this in French." I was like, "Speak English."
Oh my goodness!
I was so irritated, and trust me, that lady kept speaking French. I'm telling you, up until I was still yelling at me, so she kept speaking her French. So it just gave me, a wider understanding that if at that time, if at least I could use French to scope her.
Yeah. S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît.
J'ai le besoin. J'ai le besoin.
Okay.
Comme ça.
Some people just feel that the world starts and ends with their family. But the world is actually bigger.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people.
Yeah,
True.
About 9 billion people now. There's a lot of people in the world. So these language barriers can actually cause it. Before we go for a short break, I'd like to ask this question. What are some practical tips that you could give to our listeners, those who want to start this journey? Because maybe there's somebody who says, okay, I've seen somebody who you studied engineering, and this is you learning, speaking, and you've kept the fire, keep growing, and somebody wants to start the journey. So what are you saying to that person? Some tips.
Okay. First and foremost, it's not hard, but it is hard. Let me explain. It's not hard because, like I said earlier, once you know why you're doing it, focus on that why. Don't take your eyes off your why. Once you take off your eyes off your why, you begin to see the difficulty. But when you stay on the why, you just be seeing the day you'll be speaking. Just be seeing it in your mind. You know what they say about what you see in your mind, slowly comes to pass in real life, becomes a reality. That's the first thing I would say. Don't take your eyes off your why. Then the second thing is, like I had already mentioned, is incorporate it into your daily life. Incorporate it into the things you like to do on a daily basis. I mean, being too mechanical or too academic about learning a language makes it difficult. Yes, it makes it difficult. So you have the grammar, you have vocabulary to develop, you have so many things to develop when you're learning a foreign language, right? You have, I think the two areas of learning a language that comes to my mind right now that we normally focus on is vocabulary and grammar. You don't want to have plenty of vocabulary and then you are spark, speak and all that. And then at the same time you don't want to have the grammar and then you are looking for how to express it because you don't have vocabulary. So those are by the way, vocabulary and grammar will come. Just keep your basic, your daily life. Keep that language within your daily activities. That's a top tip for me. So for example, right now I read my Bible in French. Yes, I read my Bible in French as a way not to keep it alive, especially because I don't have the time to continue with my normal classes, even to read I have my career apprentissage, I have my workbooks in French, and I've not had time because of work or whatever, or life, to really go through it. But so as not to forget, so as not to leave it, I make sure I do my Duolingo classes, or lessons every single day. I don't miss it. And then also read my Bible in French, because I have to read my Bible. And then, so you could also listen to songs. Those are tips. If you could listen to songs on Spotify, you could. Yeah. And again, if you have a French community online, or you have a French friend, you can just tell each other, somebody who speaks the language you want to learn, that can we just talk every day for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? So be as comfortable as if you were just doing a normal thing. If you make it hard, it will be hard for you. That's a tip I can give.
Yeah. Well, it's been an interesting conversation with our guest Mobolaji, and I must say that this has, given me a better understanding why I should put more energy in my Yoruba speaking.
Yeah.
Yes, I should. You're not saying anything.
Yeah, let's go for that break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we'll still have Mobolaji in the studio, and she'll be helping us, making sense of this conversation. Thank you.
Get credible and authentic housing news at your fingertips by downloading the Housing TV mobile app. You can also join the African International Housing Show live from across the globe through the Housing TV mobile app. The mobile app features live streaming and trending housing news. You can locate the AIHS venue via the app, network with AIHS seasoned speakers, and live chat with exhibitors. You can also order house or building materials at AIHS via this app. Download the Housing TV mobile app now from the App Store and Google Play Store. And don't forget to click on the notification button. Available for both iOS and Android users. Housing TV is also on Star Times, channel 149 decoder.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Good Morning Africa show on Housing TV Africa. I'm still in the studio with our guest Mobolaji, and we're having a conversation concerning languages and how we can improve, or rather learn new languages that we have interest learning. So I'll just say, let's talk about the brain, the human brain. So we've heard that learning languages improves memory and also problem solving. Is that really true?
Well, I'm sure it does. Because I know that my problem solving skills are good. How that came about, I won't say it's actually from learning a language.
Okay.
Yeah, I already said I'm a civil engineer, and so we're naturally problem solvers. We always look for, we don't just dwell on the issues. For how do we resolve these issues? That's what we look at. So, but I will say that when you're learning a language, the first time, during the first few years or months or weeks into the language, it kind of, it tests you, it pushes you. There's a point where it is so hard that you want to give up. So I think there's a point where the brain self tells you, this one is, why are you frustrating me? I feel like if you push through that feeling that this is hard, I feel like it helps you. It helps your brain. So I don't really know the medical terms, but from my own experience, because I didn't give up when it was hard, it helps me stay with difficult tasks. Even when a task is not language learning based, it's probably my profession, has to do with my profession, and it's difficult. Because I have pushed through that stage in language learning, I find I'm able to stay in that difficulty and see that I come out of it with a solution. Unlike just slap down your laptop and walk away from it or look for somebody else to do it. No, we're going to see the end of this problem. I think some of that may have come from pushing through the difficult part of learning the language. So that's my personal experience.
Okay.
I don't know how the doctors or the scientists will explain it, but how I experienced it was the ability to stay in the hard, the ability to stay in the difficult and explore. You know, on Duolingo, I finished learning, I finished the whole program for French. So I moved on to Spanish. And I've come to that stage in the Spanish and I'm like, they had difficult parts. And the experience from learning French is helping me to stay in that. It's not interesting because French is interesting to learn for me now because I already know a lot of words. But Spanish at this point is like, what are you people saying? Even though there are similarities in the two languages. So I'm like, what are you? But I still stay there because I'm now able to become comfortable in with difficult and hard tasks. Yeah, so
Amazing, because
I get.
trust me, life will not always be easy.
Yeah,
You have to be able to stay in difficult moments, and that's
Exactly.
actually very beautiful. I'd like to ask about the correlation between learning languages and culture, because immediately you learn the language, the next thing is that you are indirectly learning the culture.
True.
You know, you learn the words that relates to people, the way they speak, the way they greet. So.
And even the way they dress.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so there's a huge relationship between the language and the culture. I think, I don't know, they're so interrelated that I was going to say, is the culture in the language or the language is in the culture? One of the two, or either ways. So, but for me, in the French learning curriculum for the French language, I've forgotten what they really call it, but the curriculum, right? The way they teach you about everything. They try as much as possible to cover every area of the French life as a French person. They talk to you about education in France. They talk to you about gastronomy, which is food, about their feeding lifestyle, the way, because food is a special thing for the French people. They talk to you about monumental places in France. They give you some history. So these are the lessons they use. They use things about French culture, about French history, about French heritage to teach you the French language. So by the time you have gotten to B2, that's B2 level, you already know so much about the French culture. You already know so much about being a French person. And I'm sure when you eventually decide that, oh, I want to go to France, when you get there, because they've taught you, oh, Notre Dame, that building that got burnt, some years back, and I think they just completed it last year, November or so. And then they've taught you about the Musée de Louvre or something like that. They've taught you all these things, or you've read them in passages, you've read them in books, they've been one or two videos about it. When you get there, it's not strange anymore. And you almost feel at home, even though it's not your home, but you almost feel at home because you already had that information about it. That shows the relationship between the language and the culture. And I remember when we were growing up learning Yoruba, there's this book. There's this book that we used to read, and I mean, on our own at home, nobody's going to sit down and tell you about Oduduwa or the 7 children of Oduduwa and the Oromiyan and the one that went. We heard all sorts of things. We heard of how Benin, the one that started Benin, is the last born. We heard of all the gods, Shango, a lot of it like that. Those were taught in Yoruba language class. Nowhere else. So I mean, the relationship between the two is really, really strong. It's almost as if it's one and the same.
But would you agree with me that there are some persons that are naturally gifted in just, picking up a language and learning it immediately? Because I'm saying this because we had someone who stayed with us, funny enough, very, very funny, for just 2 months. And he started speaking Hausa.
There are people, I agree. There are people,
lovely.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a gift.
And
then I was wondering, I was
But
like, how? Are you sure? He said, no, he has never that. He has always wanted to learn how to speak Hausa.
It's
so
a
just
gift.
being around my family, and they were always speaking Hausa, and he will always say one thing in Hausa, even if it's wrong, we'll say, no, it's not like this, say it this way. but 2 months was really short for me on a normal. I don't think I can even use 1 year to learn any language, but that's
It's a
really
gift.
so.
It's
So you would
actually
agree
a
with me
gift.
that
I
there are
agree
people
absolutely
that are
that it's a
naturally
gift.
gifted
Yeah.
when it comes to languages, and there are still some people that have problems learning
Yeah.
just.
Well,
All right, then that's a very good one. Thank you so much, Mobolaji, for stopping by. I don't have any more questions to ask, apart from letting her know that very soon I'll be one of her students.
no, language friends, I prefer.
Okay, language friends,
friends,
yes,
yeah.
of course. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Thank you
Anyone,
so
Yoruba
much.
or French?
Both.
I'm available.
I think I'll start with Yoruba first. Please keep the French. I'll do Yoruba first. Thank
All
you
right.
so much
You're welcome.
for stopping by.
Okay, so I'd like to ask now, maybe the final question.
Okay.
Going forward, as someone who's been privileged to understand the importance and some of the things that we can get out from learning French, and you've had that exposure, you've had that enlightenment. What are you doing about assisting others and helping other Nigerians get? Because you said if you want somebody to learn a language, give them reasons. Probably they will learn. If they told me learn Hausa to get 10 million naira, no, what is 10 million? 10 I said naira, I forgot the currency I wanted to use.
$10 million.
Pounds.
Yeah. So you will follow me bumper to bumper to learn Hausa.
I'll learn it in 1 week now.
Trust me, it doesn't work
I'll wake
that
up.
way.
No, it works. It's the motivation.
Not 1 week, but you will learn it. Not 1 week,
Not
but you will
1
learn
week,
it.
but you would learn it, but not 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah, you try,
In
but
2
not 1
weeks.
week.
In 2 weeks.
No, you won't do.
He spent on
How?
collecting the $10 million.
I'll learn it every day. What I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is that when there's a motivation, when there's a reason,
Yeah.
and you're like, this reason fits into your purpose, it fits into your plan, you can go the extra mile to do something.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to help the next generation and raise other people who could understand what you now understand?
Okay, well, this is not something that you can force down anybody's throat, but because naturally I mentor young people, because I work in a youth church, I'm a minister in a youth church, and I always tell people who come to me or who maybe approach me for career advice, I always tell them, can you start learning a language? Choose one: Spanish, French, German. And sometimes I follow up with them. And then I try to explain to them why they should. Just like I said, I mean, the possibilities are endless with an international language. I mean, people may not see it now, but very soon, we have so many people probably applying for a particular job, and they ask you, how do you stand out? Oh, I stand out because
I speak French.
Yeah, because I can, communicate with the part of your clients or the customers that do not speak English, or I can represent the organization at international meetings. I can write reports. I can, so many things that you can do if you're armed with that special. So I try as much as possible to tell people that, because I know that the world is truly a global village, and you cannot afford to sit down with just one language and say you want to play in the international thing. We are now 9 billion people, like you said. How do you increase your odds? One way. There are other ways. I mean, get a PhD, get a master's, get a first degree, whatever, but also get an additional language. It pushes you a little bit further. And so that's what I would tell them, And I hope that people see what I'm talking about. I try to share. I try to motivate them too. And I've seen a few people that listen to me, that talk to me, and then they're like, oh, Aunt Mo, sorry, I used that, oh, I'm learning French now. Oh, I'm doing this now. Oh, I've done ADO exam. I've done I've done. I was like, clap for yourself. That's tremendously good progress.
Wow, Mobolaji, it's been such a rich conversation with you. Thank you so much once again for coming by. language learning is not just for fun. You know, I just before I used to think that language learning is for fun, or just to, you know, catch cruise. Yes, I know how to speak French and just add it to. But now with the way you have, you know, broken it down and explained, I now believe that even as journalists, we should also have. And
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you
Comparative
behind.
advantage.
I am picking French here on your own.
I don't
Thank
even know
you.
what I'm learning.
Thank you.
What are you
Because-
learning? Germany,
He's trying
Spanish,
to think of what he's
Arabic.
learning. Oh yeah, that was my second choice after French.
Okay,
I was
thank
going to
you
shift
so
to
much.
Arabic.
Now let's have this conversation
Yeah.
before we go. Now, before you came, you know, we're having this conversation about learning one language, and I told him, I said, I'd rather go for Arabic,
Yeah.
not because I'm from the north. Yes, I'm from the north, but I'm a Christian. Not because I'm from the north, but Arabic is a language, and you can, you know, have access to it. Like, he said, no, not Arabic. I said,
No,
okay.
that was the language of choice after French.
So now you
before
see.
Spanish. But I started learning it. You could check my Duolingo. You see there. I started learning. The only thing that just discouraged me, I can be discouraged though, was the fact that I have to learn new alphabet from the scratch.
Exactly. Yes. Arabic is
Unlike
like that.
Spanish, German, English, French, they are all Latin based. But Arabic, you go and learn this.
Exactly.
So
and
I
then
see,
how to write it, how to even.
yeah. So
now
I've
you
not
see-
closed. We've not closed the door on it.
Okay.
We'll still explore.
Okay,
Abi,
no,
so
no,
we'll
of course,
explore.
of course.
I love it. I wish you the very best in your journey.
Thank you.
I'll be supportive.
You be supportive.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The best part of this conversation is that it's not too late to start.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're a student, a professional, a retiree. There's always something you could do. Unlock new doors for yourself by learning a foreign language today.
Yes. So I just moved. Don't worry, I've taken that part. Okay. So thank you again, once again, Mobolaji. You've reminded us that languages are not just about words. They're about connection, culture, and confidence. And I'm going to so build my confidence in language speaking.
Yeah,
Apart
please
from my
do.
language.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm learning Arabic. I'm learning.
No, you're not learning
Niger.
Arabic.
I'm learning
But you do know how to speak your language, though. Please tell me you know how to speak your
Of course
language.
I do.
Of course he knows. how to
No,
speak.
a lot of people don't know how to
True
speak their
though,
local
true
language.
though.
They are here.
Eh?
They are around. Don't worry. I just saw.
No start.
All right, so we wrap up today's edition. What a wonderful edition we've had on the Good Morning Africa show. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Remember, you could always follow us on social media and let us know the language you're planning to learn. Yeah. Also, you could go on our social media platform, drop something on French. Of course, I'll come reply you. Drop on any language. I'm there for you.
Are you sure?
AI.
Are you sure? Anyways, I am not saying you should come and drop any language because I don't even know what to answer. But hey, bring it on Hausa, anyone. I'm going to definitely reply you. See you next time. And remember, language is power. Use it to connect, learn, and lead. I am Maimuna Bagudu. Have a great day.